everyone, it's Alyssa and this is Always Cinema Chic, the place that encourages you to stay at home, get dressed up, and watch a movie. So this was a special movie for me because I always felt like there is such an inexplicable bond that happens between a pet and a human, and I can't even imagine what that bond is like when you are both out there protecting each other in life or death circumstances. So Megan Leavey is a true story, and it stars Kate Mara, Ramon Rodriguez, and Common, and it's directed by Gabriela Cowperthwait. I really hope I said her last name correctly. And it is definitely an emotional roller coaster. I was either welling up or outright crying during the whole of this entire movie. Now that might not be saying much because I really do melt whenever I see an animal on film in any way, shape, or form, and when I see the relationship between a human and an animal, it just gets me every time. I will never watch Marley and Me again because that basically destroyed me. So this, though, does a really nice job of blending realistic drama while still pulling at the heartstrings. And so the movie starts out with Megan Leavey, who is just directionless and depressed. Her best friend had just died, and she doesn't know what she wants to do with her life. She doesn't know what makes her happy. And so since there's nothing really holding her down in the town, she decides to become a Marine. So she leaves her house, she leaves her family, and she does become a Marine, but this doesn't actually fix any of her problems. She's still not sure what makes her happy. She's still kind of aggressive and stubborn and doesn't really work so well within the Marines. So one night she ends up going out drinking and she pees in front of the officer's barracks, which is probably not the best idea. So as a punishment, she is sent to do kennel duty in the canine unit, which basically means that she is just cleaning up dog poop for hours on end. But it's in the middle of cleaning up all of this dog poop that she finds her true purpose. She now knows that she wants to be a handler for bomb-sniffing dogs in Iraq. So now that she has this newfound goal, she knows that she has to do things like raise her score, her rifle ability has to be improved if she even wants to be considered for that unit. So of course she succeeds and becomes paired with Rex, who is actually also aggressive, stubborn. He's really difficult to control, much like the way Megan Leavey is herself. So it really does seem like the two are perfect partners, and they, throughout the film, form a bond that's unbreakable. So Rex ends up saving her life in an explosion, and the pair only get closer after that. And then the rest of the film is basically about Megan's quest to adopt Rex once he retires. Now, this is certainly not a war film like Dunkirk or Apocalypse Now. It's this much smaller story. It's really about someone who's figuring out what they want to do in life and what makes them happy, and finding the connection with someone and finding love with someone. And in this case, it's a German Shepherd, and while that could sound kind of cheesy, the movie does not make it cheesy at all. It's very genuine, it's very heartfelt, and I think a big reason for this is Kate Mara, who really does such a wonderful job in the film because she creates a character that has a lot of layered complexity. She's not just one way or the other. So on the one hand, she does seem rather aggressive and stubborn, and when she finds love with Rex, it doesn't change those qualities in her. She's still not necessarily able to play nice with others. And even though she is so strong-willed, she's not really cocky because we get to see that she is rather insecure. She's apprehensive about going to Iraq. So she gives a really layered performance. And the chemistry that is between her and Rex is palpable. Rex's real name is Falco, and it just looked like the two of them really did share such a bond, and I can't even imagine what it would have been like when they had to separate once the movie was over. I feel like I would have been absolutely heartbroken if I had filmed this whole movie with this dog that I got so close to, and then that's it, you just have to leave each other. You know, I felt like the scenes in Iraq, they could have been really loud, they could have been full of action, but instead I found that we were left with the frightening daily actions that Leavey and Rex would have to complete. Such as we see the scenes where Rex is sniffing cars at checkpoints, and then they're going into houses to detect bombs. It's like these two, they could die at any moment, but Cowperthwait allows the suspense to play out by itself rather than including a ton of camera movement and having an epic soundtrack. So when I looked up the director, I found that she actually did 2013's Blackfish, which is a documentary about killer whales that are held in captivity in SeaWorld. And that in and of itself is a really good documentary, and you should probably check it out. But once I realized that, everything started to come together, because she really does have such a realistic documentary style of telling the narrative, telling the story. And I felt that that really worked in their favor, because there's nothing that's hyperbolic or over the top in the film, which is really what you want when you're doing a true life story. Now, this is not to say that there were not missteps in the film. One of the things that I think always goes wrong with these true life biopic type stories is they start adding things that weren't actually there because they think that there needs to be more drama. So there's a relationship that happens between Leavey and another Marine, Morales, and that relationship didn't happen in real life, and it really felt like it didn't need to be in the story at all. It was a totally unnecessary subplot because the movie is already a love story, and then it's like you're adding a romantic love story, and it's just too much. And there were a bunch of other things that didn't actually happen in real life. So when I looked it up, she had never joined the Marines because her friend had died. She actually joined the Marines because of 9/11. So I don't know, I didn't understand why the writers wouldn't simply write the truth, especially with something like that. Also, Leavey was never punished and then forced to clean the kennels. She had always wanted to work with the K-9 unit, but I feel like that's probably not as much drama, and they didn't want to go in that direction. But I wouldn't let these small missteps stop you from watching the movie. If you love animals at all, then you are just going to fall in love with the relationship between Leavey and Rex. It was just so beautiful to watch. So in terms of artistry and film, I would give Megan Leavey a B. It's a very good story. I love the realistic style of filming. Kate Mara really does give an outstanding performance, but like I said, there are a bunch of subplots that kind of get in the way of what I felt the true essence of the story was. I don't think for a second that the real Megan Leavey was a problem in the Marines, and I'm kind of curious what she actually thought about that portrayal of herself, since she's obviously still alive. So, you know, I'm not totally sure why they did that. But in terms of watchability, I would give Megan Leavey an A-. I couldn't take my eyes off of it. Like I said, I am such a huge animal person, and I know that had something to do with why I liked it so much. This isn't the kind of movie that I would go back to and watch again and again. I don't really think I want to put myself through that again. But if you have any kind of connections to animals, then I am absolutely sure that you are going to love this. I have 5 cats, and I had one of the cats on my lap during the whole movie, and I was literally just like crying into her during the movie. I'm sure she love that. But if you have that same kind of feeling, then I really do think that you will like this movie. So thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe to the channel. And remember, it is always in fashion to stay at home, relax, and make it a cinema chic night. Bye everyone!